welcome to Sewing Seams with Deb and another episode of my top 5. Well, hello, and a very warm welcome to you and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm talking about my top 5 least used but much needed. So just the 5 items. I've got quite a few others as well, but these are the least used and much needed. The first one is this Slim Flex Expanding Sewing Gauge. Now, the reason this is least used is because I don't make many blouses or dresses with buttons on them and buttonholes, because this is a measurer for exact distances between buttonholes and buttons. And according to the instructions, we can have it stretched right out like that, or just depends how much space you want between them. It's got the spaces there to draw the lines for the buttonholes and the points for exact precise measurements of the buttons as well. So it's a very favorite tool and a very special gift, and was given to me, an expanding sewing gauge. Some people are calling it something else, can't remember what, but when it's stretched right out, yeah, you can put your button, draw your lines on this side or that side. There's another way you can use this for exact measuring of distances between pin tucks. And now this blouse has got pin tucks on it. You can't see it. It's gone. It's disappeared amongst all the design, the beautiful pattern. Or you can use it to measure pleats, the distance between pleats, and make your marks on the fabric to indicate exactly where you want them and where you want the fold lines to be. So awesome tool, expanding sewing gauge, much needed, but I don't use it that often. Now the next tool is also related to buttonholes, and it's this special cutter or chisel. So it's a buttonhole chisel, and once you've got the buttonhole made, to cut the buttonhole open, you just press very firmly down with this instrument. Now you've got to be precise, and this is very sharp and is very magical because it goes through very thick fabric quite easily, but I have been known to hammer it on the end. And I've got this special piece of jarrah wood, Australian jarrah. Isn't that fantastic, that piece of wood? Which I have underneath, so that I just put the wood down, then the garment, and then the chisel, and just press hard on that or tap it with the hammer, and that cuts through. So that's the buttonhole chisel. So instead of using your quick unpick or your seam ripper or your scissors and run the risk of cutting through your brand new beautiful buttonhole, get yourself one of these little bad boys. It's fantastic. Again, rarely used, not used that often, only because I just don't happen to do many blouses or shirts or dresses with buttons at this stage. But it may change. Now the next one I have is a point turner. So once again, this is plastic and a very sharp edge. It's not that sharp, I guess you could say. It's pointy edge, not that sharp. It's got this hooky thing at the end. I'm not sure, someone might be able to help me with what that is used for. I don't know, but this point turner is amazing to point out corners in when you're turning fabric inside the right way from being sewn together, or when you're making a collar to just press against the turned out side, and it's just a way to get precise precision. It's just a way to get precision when you're turning out your sewn fabrics. So the point turner is very handy. Some people use it for other purposes. I haven't found another purpose for it, but I have it on hand, special place in the top drawer. So the old point turner. The next one I've got is a safety pin, and get a load of this lot. That safety pin is from when my children were small. In fact, my first daughter was born. I had old school nappies, which are come back into vogue now. So there was no such thing as disposable nappies at that stage. It's how old I am. And these were the nappy pins, and they've got this little lock at the end whereby it can't accidentally come undone and then poke into the baby's tender skin. So you'd have to unlock it by pulling it out and then open up the pin. Now, what do I use this for? Well, I stick my stick it through my elastic, and then thread the elastic through the channel around my waistbands of usually pajamas, tracky dacks, that type of thing. And sometimes on the cuffs I'll also put some lacquey. Some blouses I haven't done that for a long time, where it's got lacquey around the bottom. So anytime you want to thread something into a channel, the old safety pin. Now, I've got a burning question. My burning question is, how many safety pins do you need? I've got heaps. Look at them. And the variety of sizes does come in handy for different things. And I do use safety pins a lot in my knitting. I know that quilters use safety pins a lot. I haven't gone to the dark side yet. I haven't quite got there, but maybe one day. And I'll need more. I'll need more. There won't be enough. So the last one for today is the good old reliable thimble. Now I like, well, the reason, first of all, let me say, the reason why it's least used, but much needed, I am very used to using a thimble when I hand sew. And I've got big fingers, quite fleshy fingers, plus, a bit of arthritis coming. So I have to have the large size thimble, not the largest, but large. And I like the metal ones. And I like to wear it, and this is against the rules, I like to wear it on the middle finger. So I push the needle through with that finger and then pick it up on this side. So the thimble, the reason it's least used but much needed is quite often, instead of hand stitching a hem, quite often, instead of hand stitching a hem or other areas in the garment that I could hand stitch and use the thimble, I'll just go over it with the blind stitch on the machine, especially since I've got my beautiful new machine. It's got a blind hem stitch and a blind foot. So that's really awesome for that. This is also really good if you want to protect your finger. So as you get older and your skin gets more fragile, that will keep getting pricked with the finger, and you'll be like, who was it that kept pricking her finger on the loom in the nursery rhyme? It wasn't Rapunzel, let down your hair. If you remember who that was that kept pricking her finger, and then I know I've got my my stories mixed up, but she didn't go to sleep for 100 years, did she, when she pricked a finger? Maybe you can help me with that one. Anyway, the thimble, there it is. Just going back to the thimble, I do use the thimble a lot in knitting as well. There's a fair bit of hand stitching in knitting especially if you're knitting a garment in pieces, not in the round. You need to stitch up by hand the garment. So the side seams have to be stitched by hand, and I'll always use a thimble. I'm just very used to having a thimble on when I do hand stitching, so that's another great use. So just wondering, out of these tools, which ones do you have? Have you got an old baby pin like this from back in the day? Yours might be blue. Used to get them in blue and pink. I don't think they even had them in yellow in those days. So which are your favourite tools? Is it the expanding sewing gauge? Is it the point turner? Is it the chisel used for opening buttonholes? Is it the safety pins, or is it the thimble? And some people wear a thimble on their thumb. Do you wear it on your finger or your thumb? And do you wear it on your hand that you push the needle through, or do you wear it on the hand that receives the needle when it's pushed through? These are burning questions that I need to know. Thanks for watching this episode. It's been a lot of fun. I always have such great time talking about the sewing tools and the various uses for them. I don't have any history today in this episode, so my apologies. I don't have any interesting facts except for the baby pin maybe. So I'm going to leave you with that, short and sweet. Until I see you next time, take good care and stay well and happy sewing or knitting. Bye.